Hey, Blue Table fans! I don't have my hood on. Blah. I went and bought like 4 hoodies, and that's what I'm wearing this winter. Basically, letting myself go. All right. So a few people gave me topics to talk about. Yeah, I got to look at my face the whole time. Well, I guess people are usually, I think, listening to these videos and doing something else because, you know. Yeah. All right, I've started playing D&D lately, and I'm also interested in Pathfinder. Where would I start right now in Pathfinder? There's so much content from Paizo that it's dizzying, and they now have a 2nd edition. Yes, it's true. I've told this story many times. The short of it is that in 2008, Dungeons & Dragons went from version 3.5 to version 4. And they changed the game a lot, and the fans didn't like it. An independent company called Paizo Publishing jumped in. They were then, I think, making modules like dungeon adventures for the game. And they redid 3.5 into Pathfinder. Of course, they couldn't call it Dungeons & Dragons because they didn't have the rights to that. So that game became very popular, and I think a couple years ago they did their 2.0, which is kind of like their 4th edition. Like, they changed the game a lot. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping track of it. Okay, so Pathfinder version 1, yes, it has a zillion books out to it. I have another video. I'll find it. I'll put the link in the liner notes that tells you what I think that you should buy for Pathfinder 1.0. Hold on, let me get this door shut. Blah. All right, so Pathfinder 1.0. So Pathfinder 1 has so much out for it that it is dizzying. It's very crunchy. It's very complicated. It's like there's so much to know about it. It's very technical. It lends itself very nicely to being played with miniatures, which of course I love. Dungeons & Dragons 5.0, 5th edition, they really recaptured the feel of the game, and they made a good game. And recently I've been like really reading it and understanding it, and I really like 5th edition. And but I loved Pathfinder 1.0 as well. Just it depends on what you want. But yeah, there's like at least 200 or 300 books out for it. It's a lot. That includes modules. So I actually have a collection of Pathfinder 1.0 that I'm making a half-hearted attempt at selling. I counted 210 books for it, and so check the liner notes. I do have an asking price for that. Hold on, let me just think this through. The problem is shipping. It's going to weigh like 80 pounds, so shipping costs become really problematic for that. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. If I found someone local, it would be right around $4 a book, which is super, super cheap. So in terms of Pathfinder 1.0, there's different types of books. There's the core book. Then there is a set of 3 core books, the Dungeon Master's Guide. I don't think they call it that. I think they call it, it's called Game Mastery Guide. You don't really even need that. They have bestiaries instead of monster manuals. Last I knew, for 1st edition, they had come out with 6 of them. And then, of course, there were supplements to round out different character classes and stuff like that. And there were like a lot of those, at least 12. Now, for Pathfinder 2.0, I haven't played it, but I would recommend it because I've looked it over. They're doing a really good job. They're starting over from scratch. They're making their system a lot better. It hasn't got to that ridiculously crunchy phase yet. And I've noticed, on a separate topic, that everything has like this arc of where it is. So let me give you an example. When I was a child growing up in Ashland, Oregon, it was a relatively small town. The downtown was a walking downtown. This was in the 80s, by the way. And lots of great shops, very cute, wide sidewalks, super friendly place to be. And you would go downtown and actually walk around and walk a couple miles around like the plaza and places like that. There was that park, Lithia Park, was really amazing. And to a great degree, it's still that way. Anyway, so for Halloween one year, some families just went down there and were like walking around and had their kids in costume, and they were trick-or-treating the different businesses, and it was all very spontaneous, but nobody really knew about it. Year 2, more people came, and it was really cool. And then by year 3, a lot of people had heard about it, and it was really beautiful. It had just the right amount of people. It was really, and you would go there and like you just to see the other kids in costume. It was very innocent, and it reached its like its peak at that point in time. Then the stupids showed up. I don't know what to call it. Douchebags, I guess. Awful people show up, and by year 5 or 6, it was ruined. The police had to come. People were there just in like really non-family friendly costumes. I think there was a stabbing. And I've noticed everything kind of follows this arc where it's like really small and cool, and then it gets into sort of a prime where it's well known enough and there's enough people, but the stupids haven't showed up. And it gets to a mid, and then obviously a decline in the end. And I think maybe the United States is going through the last stage of that right now. I don't know. By the way, I'm very hopeful for the future. I probably shouldn't have said that, but too late now. It's a 7-minute video, and I'm not gonna go back and redo it. Okay. Anyway, a gaming group is typically like that for miniatures battles. It starts out. The problem is getting enough people to come, and to make it, give it its momentum. But then it reaches this super phase where everyone's just having a good time. It's not super rules crunchy. There's not a lot of power gaming, and everyone's having fun, but you're still like you're discovering new things about your book. And this is with people who are just starting a miniatures battles game, like they're just learning it. Now, the internet does tend to accelerate the arc because you can jump to the end, to the power gaming phase, and just pick this list and just beat everybody up with it. And and then of course there's an end stage to any group. Pathfinder 2.0 is at the sweet spot. They just got enough books out to make it a wonderful experience for a new group to experience. Oh, here's the problem. There you go. I was getting some weird light. I was like, where's that light coming from? Okay, so Pathfinder 2.0, I would highly recommend it. If you, between Pathfinder 1 and 2, just get it. Unless you want a lot of books for cheap. Then Pathfinder 1 is a place for you because you can find somebody who's getting out of it, just scoop them all up. But, of course, you need your own group and stuff like that. So Pathfinder 2.0 is really good. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which is put out by the parent company, Wizards of the Coast. I really like it. But Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition could be going through the late-ish middle stage of, that whole process, where it starts to get rules bloat, and people know the system a little too well, and there's too much out there for it. So it's a tough call. But I've been turned on recently by, hold on, oh, I have it right here. Yes, good. I got supers. Tiny supers. If you look closely enough, it does say tiny. And this rule book, look at that. Guess how much of this is the actual rules? That part. So it's like you can learn it. You can make a character. I was making characters for it, heroes and villains, and it was taking me 10 to 15 minutes to make one. And I don't even know the system that well. Just cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. It's very simple. Your guy gets 3 powers. And that's it. You just pick 3, you're done. There's no characteristics, there's no point buys, there's nothing. You just pick your 3 powers, and you're good to go. Well, there's other things to pick, but it does not take very long to get this game going. So pretty cool. Really enjoying it. Got the hardback, of course, and a PDF. And there you go. So I'm going to be trying that soon. I have 3, possibly 4 players for it. And they're kind of just waiting in the wings for me to actually get going. My problem is I like to run a sandbox game where you could literally go anywhere, talk to anyone, do anything, and you're still in the adventure. And that usually takes minimum 40 hours of prep. Oh, why did I do that to myself? My games are really good, guys. I am a really good DM. I really should be recording my games. I usually use music with them, so that's why I don't do it. All right, well, this has become a ramble. I was just answering that one question of Pathfinder 1 versus Pathfinder 2, whether you should do Pathfinder at all. And, okay, I'm going to do a little postscript. Oh, no, I'll do a separate video on that. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. And I've got, by the way, I do have a lot of miniatures to show you.